Imagine this. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings. This is your house. But is it your home? Hi, I'm Nelson DeMello, and join me as we try to find our home beyond our borders. I don't know. I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's a good take.
Guys, I don't know if you're as exhausted as I am. I am exhausted. You know, I thought I could make this way more entertaining than I'm making it, but I'm going to push through. I have to push through. This is partly something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. This is like accountability for reading the Old Testament because I got to get through it. And here we are. Some things that I've maybe forgot to mention so far before we get back right into it. I think the difference between like Western thinking and like Jewish thinking, kind of, you know, maybe I touched on it, maybe I didn't, maybe you thought of it as I was talking, but I think that's something to like consider. And I think even biblically something we can see is how the style of Paul is different than the style of John when they write in the New Testament, where Paul, he means exactly what he says. He uses the right words, the right sentence structure. When he puts ifs, ands, buts, everything is like perfect. It's philosophy, you know? When John talks, there's this sense of he's trying to tell you something without telling you something, you know? It's more flowery language. It's storytelling, you know what I mean? So there's something there. And I think those differences is how maybe we see truth, and intertwining these two things gives us maybe a clearer picture, a fuller picture. You can't have one without the other, essentially. Wow. Okay. Going back, though, we stopped about halfway through Jacob, okay, in his journey. But to continue on, okay, God wounds him for life, bro. For life. Why would God do that? Why would God hurt his chosen person for the rest of his life? I mean, again, the answers might not satisfy you, but some answers to this is, one, a constant reminder of what happened that day. A constant reminder that he has been changed, redeemed, and reconciled to God. That it did happen, right? He's not crazy. He has the hip to prove it, okay? He has the limp to prove it. To always depend on God. He doesn't have his full strength anymore. It's a reminder of, hey, you're human, one. Two, he promised you stuff, and you got to depend on that. You can't do it on your own strength and your own might. And that his strength, that Israel's strength, Jacob's strength, comes through his weakness. Also, what is a limp to see the face of God and to live? It cost him an arm and a leg to see God. I think it's worth it. I don't know. But yeah, this story is symbolic to the identity of Israel as a country, right? Wrestling with God, the blessings, the faithfulness, right? All of just the struggling in the covenant. And then for the rest of the book, you just see the family drama, right? So let's get into it a little bit. Probably one of my favorite stories in Genesis. Now, not for no particular reason. I know why. It's just not deep. And that is Dinah getting assaulted sexually all the way, and the vengeance on Shechem. This is just some Peaky Blinders, like mafioso. Let me just tell you the story. Okay, so basically, Dinah gets raped, right? This is how the story goes. And then Simeon and Levi are just fuming. They're fuming. And the person who raped her then says, "Oh, I love her so much. Let me marry her. Let's intermarry, actually. Let's do that. That's better." And they were like, they go to their dad. We need to destroy these people. How can you just stand there and watch? And he's like, bro, I don't want to start problems. If we start problems, they're going to come after us and we're not going to win. And da-da-da. He's like, and then they devised a plan. They're like, okay, all right. Okay, all right. Hey, Prince, we'll intermarry with you, but your men have to be circumcised. It's just how, how God wants our women to be married into. What? You know what I'm talking about. And they're like, oh yeah, of course, dude. Your women are so much prettier than ours, I think, or whatever. I don't know why, like why intermarry a whole. Anyways, okay. So then they have so they do it. They're circumcised. And they're sore, obviously. They're grown men getting circumcised. So they're just like, oh, my groin. And then the Israelites go in and just cold-blooded just stares them to the depths of their eyes and says, shouldn't have done that. And just stabs them all to death. And that's that story. Isn't that crazy? He's like, yeah, this is what you get for raping my sister. I love it. It's like because obviously they were the bad guys. Like there's no redemptive quality in, oh yeah, I ripped your sister, I want to marry her. What the hell? Like what kind of lunacy? Like who do you think you are? Totally got what they deserved. Does that make me a bad person or ungodly or something? I don't know. But it's freaking baller, dude. I don't know. So yeah, some themes here. Unjust response to injustice. Literally killing a whole people because of one person's misdeed. Yeah, not prescriptive at all. I think that's something to remember when we read through, most of the Old Testament. Nothing here is prescribing what you should do with your life. Abraham having sex with a concubine is not at all a prescription, right? It's a description. And what we see actually is the confusion that brings, right? The dynamic tension between Sarah and Abraham, the dynamic tension between Hagar and Sarah, the competitiveness, the envy, the jealousy, the infighting, the drama, all of that, all because describing a sin. We're going to see this with the kings. We're going to see this, onward. Describing people's sin does not prescribe the sin, but it's actually just a mirror of like, hey, this is what happened and this is what happened. This is what they did and this is what happened. Look at the consequence, learn from it so you don't have to, learn from it yourself. So yeah, this is not prescriptive, but it is descriptive to fallen human justice. This is why vengeance is of the Lord and not ours, because we will always retaliate in ways that are not reflective of justice. After this, Tamar's trickery. This is an interesting story. So Tamar marries one of Judah's children. He dies. Tamar goes to homeboy, Judah, you owe me another person to marry. And then he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. It doesn't happen. Tamar, she exposes the goods, covers her face. Judah's like freaking, wow, who that? Who the voluptuousness? Who that? What was that? What's that thing doing over there? You know what I mean? He's like, you got a little badunk, a little something. And Smitten sleeps with her as if she was a prostitute because she dressed like a prostitute, hid her face, couldn't tell. She gets pregnant. She also takes his left shoe or something, right shoe. I don't know. Because that's like how people made deals. Like, hey, if I don't fulfill my end of the deal, keep this. And that's like shameful. Like you walking around with one sandal is kind of ridiculous, But it also tells everybody, hey, this guy doesn't keep their deals. So she leaves. And then this guy wakes up. And is like, whoa, where'd the girl go? Where are my shoes? What the hell is going on? What is this? And he's like, I want the head of the prostitute. on a stake for taking away my dignity. Yeah. And then Tamar was like, bruh, I got your shoes right here. He's like, how'd you get these? Boy, because you knocked me up. And he's like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, you tried to take away my dignity. So here's your shoes. And now we are both dignified. I have baby. You have your shoes. And guess what? Why did I bring this up? Because this is Jesus's great grandmother. Can you believe that? Go read Matthew. You're going to find Tamar's name in there. Or is it Mark's genealogy? I don't know, but it's there. Go look at it. Isn't that so interesting? So, what do we see here? Tamar's boldness to secure her rightful place in Judah's lineage. And both of these stories actually highlight God's complex work through flawed humans and messy circumstances, contributing to the lineage of Christ. Eesh. It's a doozy. It's a doozy. I know. That's why I'm exhausted. I don't know about you. I'm doing this in one sitting. I'm going to do Exodus in one sitting. Right after this, I'm exhausted. I can't imagine. And me, I'm just repeating what I've already learned, right? You're maybe learning a lot of this for the first time. There's a lot of information. And, whew. All right. That was your pause. Moving on. You have the story of Joseph. There's a lot here we can unpack. We can unpack Pharaoh's wife. We can unpack there's a lot. There's a lot there. But I think just to finish up, okay, in the next couple minutes, you have here, right? The overarching story is Joseph is betrayed, sold, and imprisoned. But God is with him through every step. God rises him up to save many lives from the famine. And then Genesis 50:20 to just seal the deal. Chef's kiss. What you meant for evil, God meant for good. And this echoes throughout the story of Genesis. Everything we've talked about in Genesis echoes in this verse. The corruptness of humanity, the what would you say it, like the detours that God had to do because of human circumstance, right? His plan was to just live in perfect community and harmony with Adam and Eve. That took a left turn. He tried to redeem that. Cain killed Abel. So that was a left turn. He redeemed that. Sons of God married the daughters of man. Had to kill that abomination. Redeemed humanity through Noah. Maybe he was the only pure-blooded, non-Nephilimite human being on the planet. Bada bing. At least in that part of the world. Boom. That was a hat moment right there. Again, dude, I don't know. You know? I didn't think so. So, yeah, I mean, just this story of continual reconciliation. So again, typologies of Christ. How is Joseph Christ? He's the beloved son. Israel's beloved son, rejected. He suffers. He's exalted and saves all of Egypt. He forgives his brothers. He restores the unity. All of this. Joseph would definitely be a story that I'd want to go into more, but I don't know, man. It's just a lot. This has been a lot. I think this is a total of like 2.5 hours, 3 hours of content. It's like one aspect is like, why don't you just keep going? The other one is, I'm trying to finish this by the end of the year. You know what I mean? Come on now. Wait, hold up. If at any point in this you said, dang, I never thought about it like that, please subscribe. What are you doing, man? I'm trying to pay my bills. Okay, anyways, let's get back to the serious stuff. All right, see it. Okay, hats on. We're going back to the Nephilim. All right, so what's going on here? Let me tell you. So, if the sons of God are just spiritual beings, then this is how the narrative goes. This is Genesis to Revelation, all right? I'm gonna give you a little something here. Okay, so maybe, right, the sons of God possessed directly, right? So they were directly in the process of corruption, right? So then you get the Nephilim. Cool. So they somehow embodied themselves, not incarnated, but embodied themselves in mankind, and they had babies, and these babies became these tyrants and, semi-divine people, heroes, worlds, men of renown. Cool. God does away with all of that. He kills them all. These people are still alive. These people, these spirits are still alive. They outlive the flood. So what happens? They use the power of influence. So they're not possessing, they're influencing. Yeah, sometimes, we read about possessions in the New Testament and but I'm talking about these 70 sons of God. They are now influencing people. And that's how they do things. The way the world works now, right? What happens is they all come together and they're like, hey, let's oh my gosh, I totally forgot to talk about the Tower of Babel, in the sense that, oh my goodness, I didn't write it down. Dude, Tower of Babel is man's attempt to the divine, right? It's human works trying to reach the divine. I can't believe I did not talk about this. Oh my goodness. So yeah, the Tower of Babel isn't just let's be proud and let's disobey explicitly. It's this thing of let's reach God. There's these things called ziggurats, I think, which is like the Near Eastern, like this is why they would make they're temples essentially. And the idea is that it touches, it's like the plane where it touches the divine, where man touches divine, the world touches divine. And so Tower of Babel seems to be something like that, right? Why is that so significant? Well, religion, man-made religion, is an attempt to reach for the divine. Christianity is unique in that it is the divine that comes down to us. I think that's what makes it man-made. I think that's like an obvious distinction. If any system of belief, if any, way of life is pushing you, is asking of you, influencing you to reach for the divine, I think you're missing it. Okay, that's definitely something about the Tower of Babel. But anyways, the point is they spread out. 70 peoples spread out. 70 sons of men. What happens here? Okay, you read in Deuteronomy 32:8, like I said, that they were allotted disinherited people. And so that means that these sons of God then inherit them, to look over them. Corrupt. We look at, what is it? Psalms 82. Psalms 82 says that God is going to judge those Elohim, going to judge the sons of God. We read in Jude, oh no, is it Jude 7? No, not Jude 7. Dang it. In Jude, maybe it's 4, Jude 4, it talks about the same thing. 2 Peter 2 and 4 talk about the same thing. The judgment of these angels, dark influence, power, right? They're going to get what's coming to them for being an unholy version of Jesus, essentially. The spiritual thing that didn't submit to God, that chose its own way, that crossed boundaries, that rebelled, all of that. Check this out. Abraham's call is the beginning of the reversal, right? Abraham's call is, through you, I'm going to redeem all of these people again. But right now I need to separate them. I need them to be confused in their languages and not understand one another. So then, which, again, historically, if there was a group of people together, why would they all of a sudden want to separate and, all this and that, and why did we get so many languages, and why? Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many questions, unanswered questions, man, unanswered questions, and that's all I'm saying. It's unanswered questions. I'm not saying that this is the answer. I'm not saying that there is no answer. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying things, but I'm continuing. So then, if y'all remember Luke 10, New Testament, what are you talking about? He sends a couple of disciples, pairs of disciples, to go not just preach the gospel, because, technically there's no gospel. It's just the good news, right? There's salvation. So yeah, I guess they are preaching the gospel in a sense. They go, exorcise demons, heal people, all of these things. Guess how many they sent? Guess how many Jesus here. Guess how many disciples Jesus sent? Guess. About 70 or 72. And this directly correlates to the spread of 70 or 72, depending on what, not version of the Bible. Don't get me in that. But translation, I guess, Septuagint, or the oh my gosh, the Roman one, or the Latin one, Vulgate. Yeah, maybe, I think that's the difference. Vulgate versus Septuagint, 70, 72. I know the Septuagint in one of the verses, because it says like children of Israel, the Septuagint says sons of God. That's why I'm like connecting this and that, Okay. What does Jesus say when he's like, hey, we used your name and we cast out all these demons? He said, I saw Satan fall like lightning. Now, I thought that was him just randomly flexing of like, yeah, I was here at the beginning of time and I saw Satan fall down like lightning into Eden. That's not, apparently that's not what Jesus was saying. Jesus was saying the stronghold that he has completely dismantled. He has no ground to stand on. You have done my work, and he has fallen from his throne. Whew. So you got separation, 70. You've got the dismantling of these powers. Then you have Pentecost. The language confusion is reversed. Yo, huh? Language confusion is reversed. They start speaking in everyone's language through the power of speaking in tongues. Then Revelation 7. Revelation 7 talks about how the nations are going to be restored. So it's this full arc. Anyways, that's why I think that the sons of God are spiritual beings and the Nephilim are just children of these in a spiritual, metaphysical way. Hats off now. That ends our time with Genesis, and I just wanted again to remind us that Genesis holds multiple layers of truth simultaneously, right? It holds physical and historical truth. Again, maybe not in exact detail the way that the Western world would like it to be, but it is, in its own right, still holds historical and physical truth. There's symbolic and spiritual truth, psychological, prophetic truth. And I just encourage you to read it in that lens. Read it in the lens that God is merciful, that God is always trying to connect and reconnect with us, that he is just and he wants the flourishment of humanity. And sometimes that means destroying wicked people. If I could leave y'all with some things, people suck, okay? People suck, but God will always try to recourse, redeem, reconcile us back to him through his mercy, his justice. You can't unsee it. I don't know. I can't unsee it. And when I read even like 1 Samuel 15, when he's, people talk about, oh, why would God command the slaughter of the children, the women, and the animals? Like, this is the context. This is the reference that I have when I'm reading that of like, no, but God is good and he had his reasons. And I might have my own reasons that might not answer your reasons or whatever. Or like might not answer your questions, might not satisfy your doubt, but I just know I can't escape the character of God. And this also shows, and we're going to get through the Old Testament. One of the missions that I have is to explain and help you understand that there is no separation and difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament character of God. It's not two different gods. It's not a revelation of God. Not a revelation of God in the sense of like, oh, we thought he was one thing and now he's another. If there is any kind of progressive revelation, it's more of just deepening your understanding of him, but it was always there. We just couldn't fathom, understand, meet him where he was at, kind of deal. God will destroy the wicked and preserve the righteous. Okay? We know by the life of these people and by the words of Paul that faith is what makes us righteous, not our works. What that means is it's not our behavior, it's not our actions, it's not what we do, it's not how we act. It's none of that. It's how we believe. That is what makes us righteous. And so, see ya.
Hey guys, thank you so much for going on this journey with me. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, follow, and remember, there is more to life, and that is good news. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.